This gameplay video is brought to you by Brandon Drennan. A massive thank you, Brandon. Drizzt Voltron versus Athreos God of Passage, Sidar Kondu of Jumanji, partnered with SEO Award-winning Familiar, and Kaikar wins Fury. Decent hand for us, we can fix our colours with Cultivate, so keep that one. Actually have a turn 2 Cultivate thanks to the Findhorn Elves, which will take us into a turn 3 Beast Whisperer, and then we can go Destiny Spinner after that to cantrip it. Seeing a turn 1 play already in Alseid of Life's Bounty, the partner player starting things off for us. Another turn 1 play in Death Greeter for the Orzhov player, and another turn 1 play from us in Findhorn Elves. Ajani's Pridemate from the partner player, Kaikar letting us down on the 1 mana front, just going for a Path of Ancestry. And the Alseid goes in towards Kaikar, so that will be a 3-3 Ajani's Pridemate, because this does have lifelink. Demonic Tutor now from the Orzhov player, and they did say that there's only 34 mono black elf creatures in Magic, so are we to understand that this is a black elf tribal list? I mean, this is a human shaman, so yeah, not too sure on that front, but anyway, the 1-1 human shaman goes in towards Kaikar, and we draw into Machaos the Lunarch. Got a Chroma's Will last turn as well. So it's a forest and we'll fix our colours. This deck is brought to us by Jero, by the way. He's a patron of the channel, and I put out a competition while I was on holiday a few weeks ago and put all the names that entered into a random drawing, and Jero's name came up, so he brought us one of the new commanders from the D&D set. Big thank you to Jero for supporting the channel and for giving me this list to play with. A young Pyromancer from the Kaikar, so doubling up on the tokens that will be generated here. A Ginger Brute now, so pretty strange aggro colours, but aggro seems to be the aim of the game here. And again, everything goes in towards Kaikar, scared of that young Pyromancer. Again, buffing the Ajani's Pridemate, it's up to a 4-4 this time. Now, are we going to see what the Demonic Tutor went for? It is a Blood Artist, still pretty early for a Blood Artist, but I suppose if a bunch of tokens start coming into play and a bunch of creatures from the aggro player, this one does care about any creature, I think. Yeah, whenever another creature dies, so yeah, might get some good use out of Blood Artist. A Branching Evolution for us. I've just been playing a human tribal list that cares about plus counters, so interesting to be drawing some of the same cards. Probably get down Branching Evolution before the Machaos, but before all that we'll go for the Beast Whisperer. And we'll pretend to hold up Swords to Plowshares mana so that if anyone wants to point removal at our stuff, they'll be scared about losing their own in the process. Our opponents obviously don't know that we make rational decisions as opposed to reactionary ones. Playing a bit of 4D chess over here. Fancy foiled out lands over here, so you would assume that this is a pretty powerful Kaikar list, but not doing too much in the early game, just holding on to the cards. So it's a case of seeing how low down their life total's going to get before they actually start playing. A Barrier Breach was cycled by the BAMP player. And there is Fairy Seer, Scry 2 when it enters, a 1-1 flyer. Don't have their colours fixed yet, unfortunately. That's probably what the cycling was for. Now the 4-4 coming in towards us, worried about the Beast Whisperer. And the Ginger Brute goes in, offering up the trade for the young Pyromancer. Interesting that this is being held up now, so might be worried about spot removal from the swords. A Diabolic Intent, yet another tutor from the black player. Most likely for a land if they can't get into the colours they need. Might be missing a land drop this turn, but sacrificing the Death Greeter anyway. The Blood Artist got pointed at the BAMP player, by the way. And immediately playing a scrub land, so might be bluffing us there, but they might have just gone for scrub land with the tutor. And then Blood Artist swinging in towards the young Pyromancer. I would absolutely not block that because it's clear that they want the Blood Artist in the bin. So maybe going for... yeah, see, they're not swinging in at you for your benefit. They're doing it for their own, so need to play around stuff like that. I think they're setting up a Living Death or something there. Maybe they've got Mana Crypt or Land and Soul Ring. Anyway, we'll find out next turn, I imagine. Okay, Croson Verge. I think a good use of our mana this turn is Destiny Spinner and Branching Evolution, setting up for the Machaos. Oh, and then the... how strange. Okay, 2 colour player scooped, so yep, down to a 3 player. Magic Online for you. Let's see what we draw into with Destiny Spinner first. Okay, he was expecting to keep his Blood Artist there, strangely enough. I thought he was setting something up. He could have just not swung in if he was that bothered about it. Yeah, okay, strange game. Draw into another plane, so yes, we will go for the Branching Evolution here, and then we can get the Croson Verge into play tapped. will deal some damage to the Kaikar player, because the young Pyromancer can't do anything about that unless they've got a free instant or sorcery they can go for. Might be risky to swing in over at the Jeskai player, but just deciding to take it, only going down to 30. The Kaikar player is being attacked every turn, but still at a decent life total. It's only turn 4, don't forget. Yeah, and their colours are pretty screwed as well. They've only got access to 2 of their colours. They need a blue or a red source, and then they'll be able to get down Kaikar. Edric, Spymaster of Trest. Yeah, I understand a green-blue aggro list if it's Edric. So going to refill their hand here. The 4-4 comes in at us again, the other 2 go into the left. Might have to start concentrating on the Bant player now. So hitting with 3 creatures, Edric will draw them 3 cards, and they'll go up to 6 in hand. Whispersalt Cloak, decent for our commander. We can drop that down and equip it for 5 mana, so how's about we just go for our commander here, and we get into Apex Altasaur. That is, when it enters the battlefield, fights a creature you don't control. When it's dealt damage, fights another creature you don't control, so just fights over and over again. So getting both of our creatures into play, we will... is it risky going for... I don't think the Bant player is going to be going for a board wipe, so I think I'm actually going to go for Machaos the Lunarch here. It will come in as a 2-2, so we'll be able to buff all of our stuff a decent amount next turn, as well as drawing a card, and that is probably one of the best draws that we could have got. As long as this board stays the same, we'll be able to put plus counters on all of our stuff next turn, and then Abzan Falconer will come in and give them all evasion. So why don't we just keep swinging in? I mean, I am fearful of the Jeskai player scooping on us here, but yeah, we'll keep swinging in over there. I mean, it's Kaikar, they only need 1 land and they can potentially start going off, so we'll keep pecking away at them. Oh, and I forgot all about the Edric actually. That is a world ability, so we will draw some cards in the process. Getting ourselves into another land. There is Force of Savagery as well. We can play that out, it'll die straight away and dump a bunch of plus counters on here, which with the Branching Evolution and the Abzan Falconer might be able to knock someone out next turn. Yeah, there we go, they get Mystic Gate, so can they wipe the board here? I hope not. They'll at least get rid of their own young Pyromancer. Looks like they're going for their commander. War Leader's Helix, 4 damage to any target, and you gain 4 life. That's going on to the Ajani's Pridemate. Not sure I would have bothered with that, to be honest. It will get rid of the Alseid Life's Bounty, though. So giving that protection, that might have been what their aim was the whole time. Ronum Unicorn, sacrifice it, destroy an enchantment. I don't like that. With the Branching Evolution, might have to go for Machaos as soon as we can. Maybe they won't see the play in Force of Savagery. This will die as soon as it enters, which will trigger this, and it will put a bunch of plus counters on the Drizzt. And like I say, maybe they won't see it. So the flyer going in to the Kaikar player, we get a 5-5. Just going to take that, I think. They did get a Feline Sovereign as well, by the way. Yeah, so they get to blow up our Branching Evolution. Just decided to let this through because the Feline Sovereign can get rid of it whenever a cat hits you, but they can get rid of it with this anyway, so I think we were losing our Branching Evolution either way, unfortunately. E-Witness can grab it back if we want it to, but I don't think we particularly care. Get out Force of Savagery, which can't be countered thanks to the Destiny Spinner. Draw into Galter, Primal Hunger. That dies immediately, like I said, so the Drizzt gets a plus counter, or 5 plus counters, so now it is an 8-8. And then we can go for the Abzan Falconer here. Yeah, I really want to land commander damage over here, so I'm remiss to not hold up the Akroma's Will like maybe I should, but I want to be getting rid of this player as soon as I can, to be honest. So we'll remove a plus counter from Machaos, which puts a plus counter on all of our other creatures. And now we can just go all in at the Bant player, I think. Don't really care if they hit us back. I mean, yeah, are they going to have the Beastmaster Ascension or something? Maybe. Might be an intelligent play to hold back some creatures. So let's just go for the 18 commander damage. Yep, losing that Branching Evolution just saved them. But like I said, they could have got rid of it with this anyway, whilst the triggers were on the stack, so not too worried about letting it go down to the Feline Sovereign. This time they do decide to go for Kaikar, so probably trying to get some flyers into play there. All a case of seeing what the Bant player can do here, because as it stands now, they are going down next turn. Noteworthy that the Akroma's Will doesn't get us around exile, so any spot removal they have is probably swords or path exile based. So Akroma's Will and its indestructible wouldn't necessarily help us there. That is a Shield Mare. Can't be blocked by red creatures. When it enters the battlefield or becomes the target of a spell or ability, gain 3 life. Don't particularly care about that. Noteworthy that it can get straight through to the Kaikar player though. More plus counters on the Pridemate. We don't have any enchantments or artifacts in play at the moment, so not necessarily too worried about that. SEO Wardwing Familiar, that is a means of blocking, so they might feel safe there. But we do have Whisper Silk Cloak for unblockable. And does this give trample? Flying Vigilance, Double Strike, Lifelink, Protection from all colours. So yeah, that's probably worth going for then. The Gingerbrute comes in towards us. That is unblockable because we don't control any creatures with haste. So I think it's Whisper Silk Cloak next turn and we knock out the Bant player. Elvish Mystic might be good to cantrip. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then 1, 2, 3, 4. We can hold up the Akroma's Will, which would be a good idea. So let's go for Forest. Or we can go Castle Garenbrig, can't we? Want to hold up my basics just in case someone's got some removal for non-basic lands. Definitely want to have the mana for Akroma's Will. So dropping the Whisper Silk Cloak here. Might be that there's free counter magic from the Bant player and you do not do that. That is instant speed and they just gave the loss to the Kaikar player. I'm not going to swing in because of that because that is really bad form from our opponent. Hopefully the Kaikar player doesn't scoop here. I am just going to pass because that is really not fair from our opponent. So we'll give the Kaikar player a chance to do something here. I mean, they've had a really rough game anyway, so it's probably ours regardless, but I would have passed that whether they were in a good spot or not because, yeah, that player shouldn't have scooped at that point. They should have just taken the damage. Casting Narset of the Ancient Way, and that is a spirit token for them because obviously non-creature spells will trigger the Kaikar. Holding up a single white, so I might have a Swords or a Path of their own. Going to draw a card and then discard. And they discarded a non-land card in the Akim. So this will deal damage equal to the card's CMC. So trying to get rid of our flyer here, let's go for the Akroma's Will. I think it's a little bit overkill, but we definitely want to keep the Abzan Falconer. All of our stuff getting Double Strike and Lifelink and Vigilance and Trample. And our opponent deciding to just scoop at that, so there we are, that was the game. It was a strange game, had some weird scoops, but I think it showed off this Drizzt list quite nicely. We basically want to put plus counters on our commander and then give it some means of evasion and then turning sideways for commander damage, which we did see in this game. So big thank you to Jero for supporting the channel and entering the competition. Deck list is in the description if you all want to check it out. It is a really fun list, so be sure to do that. I'm Tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.